Good afternoon. We're coming on the air with breaking news about a shooting at a Memphis area grocery store. It happened at a Kroger in Collierville, Tennessee. Here's what we know right now. According to police, 13 people were shot. One person has been killed. The shooter is also dead. Police say it appears to be self-inflicted. Just moments ago, authorities briefed the press with this update.
At this time, the shooter is deceased. We believe that's going to be from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. We have 13 victims. Hearts go out to those that were injured. We do have one fatality, and our thoughts and prayers are with those family members.
The chief of police in Collierville. Joining us now is former ATF special agent and NBC News analyst Jim Kavanaugh. Jim, we heard the chief also say that there was a separate crime scene or a separate area of interest, the car that the suspect may have driven himself there. What could they be looking for?
They're going to have to sweep it for bombs, Lester. It's routine when you get a mass shooter like this. They're going to have to make sure there's no explosive devices or booby traps in the car. They're also going to have to do the same as at his residence. But they're saying they believe he acted alone.
All right. I want to bring in now NBC News law enforcement analyst Cedric Alexander. You've been watching along with us the press conference moments ago. Any early read, anything we should be observing or thinking about as we watch this play out?
Well, I think what's going to be interesting here, Lest, as this continues to unfold, is certainly everybody's going to be looking for a motive. But here again, I think there's a lot of preliminary investigative techniques and tools that have to be utilized, particularly if you have the assailant himself who is deceased on the scene. But unfortunately, that's a large tragedy anytime you have anyone killed and that number of people who have been severely injured in this shooting. But it certainly is going to be important to find out what precipitated all this, what was the motivation behind this. And clearly, for all of us who may be watching, we've seen these images so many times before.
Well, presumably they'll have whatever statements he made to go on. I would think social media will be a prime place for authorities to begin searching right away.
It certainly will. And any witness statements and any family and friends that may come forth to help in this investigation is going to be hugely important. But it appears right now from just what we just heard from the chief, this is still somewhat early in this investigation. But those are going to be some of the primary factors that's going to have to be explored as they go forward.
Let me bring back Jim Kavanaugh. Jim, we have covered a lot of these regrettably together. Do we tend to assume that these are people that had a personal issue with any of the victims or not?
Yep. Well, it's hard to say right now, Lester, because everybody is so stressed in the country. You know, I was the agent in charge in Tennessee, and I had Memphis and Collierville, the suburbs there. Everybody's so stressed down there. The hospitals are overrun with COVID. Now you have 13 gunshot victims. You know, who knows what's driving people at the moment? It could be personal. It could be, you know, some other motive we don't see. We can't make that judgment just yet. Once they get into his electronic devices, his phone, computer, once they get to his residence, get his identity, look back at his internet feeds, like the chief was saying. Once they get into all that evidence, the motive will emerge. And he could also have left a message because we know he committed suicide, what the Collierville chief told us. So he could have left a note or a message, told his purpose. Some do, some don't. It's about half and half. So we could still learn why he did it, even though it may be a twisted, of course, reason why he did it.
Yeah. Jim Kavanaugh, thank you. Let me bring in our justice correspondent, Pete Williams, watching along with us. What have you learned, Pete? Unfortunately, Pete, I thought it was only me, but we're not able to hear you for of technical reasons. But let me just quickly wrap up what we know. This is Colliersville, Tennessee, near Memphis. A gunman apparently in a Kroger opening fire on a number of people, 13 victims, one fatality, and the shooter, according to police, took his own life for a second fatality there. They're still getting a handle on the number of injured as some of the victims were transported. Others have presented at local hospitals, but those are the numbers we know for right now. We'll continue to monitor the information coming out of the area, and as events warrant, we'll come back on the air. For now, I'm Lester Holt, NBC News. Good night. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.